Hi, this is Joseph Anthony of the Wonder Child blog. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is part 10 of a 12-part series in which I'm reading some stories by Laura E. Richards from her wonderful book, The Golden Windows, and then having a little chat about them. And this one is called The Flower of Joy. The white frost struck my garden and blighted my flower of joy. Oh, it was fair, and all the sweetness of the spring breathed from its cup. Now it lay blackened and withered, my heart with it. And then as I stood mourning, I heard another crying voice, and looking up I saw my neighbor in her garden, bending over her stricken plants and weeping sorely. I hastened to her. "Take courage," I said. "It may be they are not quite dead. For look, here lingers a little green along the leaves. Look here again, the sap flows. Take heart, and we will work together, you and I." So I labored, and she with me, binding up, tending and watering night and day, till at last life came back to her plants, first faltering, then flowing freely, and they held up their heads and drank the sunshine, opened fair and sweet to the day. And then, with her blessing warm at my heart, I turned me homeward. And oh, in the ruined garden where all lay black and prone, a thread of green creeping, a tiny bud peeping, a breath of spring upon the air. Glad woman, I fell upon my knees and stretched out trembling hands to where, faint and feeble, yet alive, bloomed once more my flower of joy. Another wonderful story from Laura E. Richards, and one of the things that I love most about it. The woman was appreciating her own flowers, taking time to take in the beauty of them. And as things happened, they withered and died. And with her heart went with that. And one of the things that is so beautiful about this story is, as I stood mourning, she said, she took the time to grieve over that which she thought was dead. And it was while she was grieving, if we would but honor the sadness in our lives, as she was mourning, that's when she heard the grief of another person. It's an amazing human spiritual thing that we can identify with the suffering of another. And when someone near to us is crying, we often start crying, just as we start laughing when someone's laughing with us. So she took the time to grieve, and then could recognize the grief in another. And I love that she hastened to her. She went right over there and was instantly, "Take courage." And she tried to help her. And she could see. Sometimes we're lost in our own grief so much that we can't see the positives or the things that are going on that are healing and growing. But the grieving woman could see there was green still there in what the other woman thought was dead. She could see that the sap was still flowing. "Take heart," she says, "we'll work together, you and I." And she takes the time to help that woman. And one of the most wonderful things about the story is the woman who was grieving her own loss. They bent down and worked together. They tended night and day, and they watered together. They worked side by side. And then, of course, the plants come back to life there in that woman's garden. And the woman who got helped by the first woman, she gives a blessing to the other. It says, "Then with her blessing warm at my heart, So not only is she capable of feeling grief, she's capable of feeling beauty and gratitude and the blessing of another human being. So, when someone helps us, we can give them a blessing, a warm blessing. And when she turns homeward, right, she finds her own garden is sprouting beautiful again. And she trembles, she falls on her knees, right, in gratitude and amazement. It's beautiful. We help each other from our pain, and we all get healed. This is Joseph Anthony of the Wonder Child blog saying thank you so much for watching part 10. Take care.